What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Chill. You got it. I'm giving you the chill.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate
That's
it.
yours now.
It's the only thing I can get in. Yeah. No,
I won't shut up.
that's
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 so
not
good.
my face.
That's just some old jabroni up there, right? We're just a $10 podcast, but thank you so much for joining us. Another episode of What the Hell Do I Know with JB. I haven't said this in a while, but every time we turn these cameras on and we get the lights going and we get a guest in the seat, I'm like, I cannot believe that there were enough people that were listening and following along that made this possible.
Yeah.
It's just insane
It's
every
remarkable.
time. So thank you so much, all of you out there that are liking and commenting and subscribing. I had a buddy of mine from way back, the grief episode we did, I think it's 29, that sent me a message. So shout out to Jeff Gilmore, because he was listening right along, and I had a spot where I talked about being at his brother-in-law's funeral right after the death of, Danielle's dad,
that.
and I just broke out. Danielle and I kind of broke out into just weeping in this funeral, and we weren't even family, but it triggered us. And so I was talking about triggers and how we were just weeping like we were part of the family, and people looked at us like we were crazy, and because we weren't in the family zone. But what's nuts about that is Jeff and his wife were driving home listening to that pod, and all of a sudden they heard me talk about that, and it got them, and they were so
Triggered memories, yeah.
Yeah, but it flooded good, and of course the loss and all of those things. And so by the way, I really appreciate when you message me directly and tell me how, the pod hit you square in the face at something, or something connected with you. It means a lot when you reach out. And so shout out to Jeff. I get a lot of you other ones. That one's just coming to my mind. I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. But I also want to say thank you for joining us here at the Floors.com studio. That's FLOORZZ, baby. Floors.com is your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering, remodel, or new build. So be sure to give them a shout out. Tell them the Jabroni sent you. They'll probably,
charge more, yeah.
Be nice to you or something. Yeah. We're getting a code at some point. We're getting a code.
Oh, yeah, we asked them about
I'm getting
that.
a code tonight.
We're figuring it out tonight.
Tonight, I am going to hold.
I don't know
them
how many people
hostage
can
and get a
spell
code.
jabronis, though. I would struggle.
No, I know.
Jabronis.
I think-
Is that right?
I think you're right. You're right. We probably need to come up with a simpler code, maybe like
Jab?
Jab. That's my initials.
Hell, it is. Okay.
We'll figure it out. We'll give you a code. Maybe it's like, what the hell do I know, or something. That might be easier if we did that code. It's a lot more letters, though, that you have to get right to get your deal. So we'll figure it out. But I'm so excited because our guest today is my good friend, Chris Cumby. Do you go by Christopher or Chris?
My parents call me Christopher.
Do they? They still call
But, yep.
Did they like to, when you were growing up, did they like to tell everyone, this is Christopher?
Oh, yeah.
They were, so they were introducing you that way.
Always.
That's awesome.
Always. Still do.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but you go by as
Chris,
because that's how I was introduced to you.
Yeah,
as Chris,
for
right?
sure.
And we have a mutual friend. I should give him. He also sends me some great,
he's amazing.
He is. Robert is so good.
So good. Really connect with him.
Yes, and he sends me some great DMs from time to time saying, "I love what you're doing. I love that pod or that episode," and that's always good. So shout out to him as well.
Big shout
he
out.
connected us.
He did.
Which is great. I'm glad you're here, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. But we are now going to play What the Hell Do I Know with Chris Cumby. It's
Oh, wow.
7 questions.
Let's go.
7 questions, rapid succession. We're going to put the clock on. You can pass if you need to pass.
Okay.
But here we go. I've only had like one person fail this in the time frame. So,
All right.
So
Well,
here,
I'll probably be the second.
here we go. Number 1, Pepsi or Coke?
Pepsi.
Oh, my good. I'm from Atlanta.
Only because I worked there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Number 2, tallest building you have ever been to the top in?
The CN Tower.
The where tower?
The CN Tower.
CN Tower. Where's that at?
It's Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. Makes sense. All right. Number 3, best place to vacation at?
Here.
That's a good answer. Number 4, favorite restaurant here on the Emerald Coast?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Whoa. I
ask
have
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
people
friends in the restaurant business. It's tough. This is
you
real
can pass
tough.
if you need to.
I
say
will
for right
say-
now, too.
You give us top 3. Who cares? Yeah.
I only have a few seconds. I'm going to go with my buddies at Tringo. 'cause I like them.
Tringos is awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Good
perfect.
food, clean.
Perfect. Number 5, most famous person you know.
Most famous person I know. Let me see. I have a good friend who is the brother to Pamela Anderson.
That's not bad.
That's
I mean,
close.
that's close.
Yeah,
It's like
Jerry
famous
Anderson.
in a famous
That's
in
true.
a famous
Yeah.
in a sphere.
Well,
in a
he's
bubble,
actually
like
pretty.
1 degree of separation.
What does he do? Yeah. Is he
Well, he's a film
film?
film
Okay.
writer.
film industry?
Okay.
Musician.
Okay.
Excellent musician.
That's great.
Does a lot.
It makes sense that he'd be talented. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not
he's
like
very
talent just hits
talented.
one person in a
Yeah,
family.
I mean,
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Number 6, do you speak any other languages other than English?
No.
Okay.
I wish I did.
I thought
Yeah.
maybe you would have French. being that
French,
you're
a
from
little
Canada.
tiny, but I see. I was going to say Paquito,
Poquito. Yeah, Spanish.
but that's Spanish, so
Yeah.
you obviously know the answer.
Yes. Okay. Number 7, dogs or cats?
Ooh, I like cats.
Okay, I am too. I'm a cat person too. You are now off the hot seat, so
Dang,
great
I
job.
made
That
it.
was super easy. You
love
made
it.
it off the hot seat. That was very easy.
That was pretty hot.
Like questions. You had one on the restaurant one started to get
Oh,
you.
that got me sweating. Actually,
Tringos is awesome.
I'm all hot and bothered
Where
right
is
now.
Taringos?
Drayton Beach.
Drayton Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we filmed a lot of the Southern Sand stuff at. Because the owner
perfect.
he's a pretty cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Andy.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy, Travis.
Well, there's
Okay.
2 of them. Yeah, Andy and Travis. Yeah.
Okay.
and Jimmy now. So yeah,
Very good, man. That's so good.
That's
I'm gonna
a
have to
great
check 'em
spot
out.
for like a sunset drink. I mean,
Is it really?
Oh man,
For
it's
sure.
just- they got a good drink menu, but it's just a
do.
cool location right
Where
in my
is it?
Red
Near-
Bar.
It's
at the corner.
Oh, you have to go. I've been
It's
there.
at the
You know
corner,
what? I've
yeah.
been there. It's just I don't go down that section. That section
Gotta start
is
going
like
down there.
down tighter
You gotta
even off of it.
tram
Well, this
down,
time of year, I mean,
basically,
you
Yeah,
got to
that's
tram it in and
yeah.
It's
mean,
nice
it's
to go in
so
off
weird.
season because you can actually park
off
right
season.
there.
That's what I was gonna say. Off season, you can park right there.
Yeah, parking's the issue, but
Yeah.
it's
I have
worth
good
it.
friends in Grayton, so I just park at their house.
Yeah,
Oh, that
that's
makes
the
sense.
other
Well,
way.
that's
you just
the
have to
other
make good
way.
friends, guys.
That's what
I'm
I
not
gotta
stupid.
do. That's
I
right.
had one
That's
hookup. They
exactly
sold their
right.
house. I was like, damn it.
Dang it! Well, find the person who's bought it.
Yeah, and
that's
just
true.
become friends with him.
It's true.
No
It's probably
doubt.
rental now.
No doubt. That's what we need to do. But no, you're off the hot seat. It was super easy. You
Yeah.
got through it. And
I did. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Thank
We've
you.
had some people that did not make it through, but I think it's probably because we just started talking about their question. No, it was Brad. He went off on like a fish story.
Oh, it happens a lot.
It happens a
They
lot.
go on
Yeah,
tangents. Or you
tangents and
do
off
a
of-
follow-up question in the middle.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which, hey,
well, it happens.
kinda you
It
should,
happens.
really, yeah.
I should. You know what's interesting is I like the clock on because it does give a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
But
That's what I thought. You
Yeah.
actually had pressure on me, and the
Yeah,
clock was
we're
going
gonna
to
ask you to
ring.
leave if you wasn't under a
yeah,
minute.
if you
Yeah,
weren't
like,
under the
sir,
minute,
yeah.
we were.
I was like, dang it, I'm not even going to make the whole show.
We were ready to go. Well, there for a while we asked all the questions like, "What's your mother's maiden name? Like, where were you born?" and stuff
Dang.
like that. And so we were basically giving password
hacking.
questions. Like,
Yeah, we were
we
good
were
at hacking their
everybody.
account.
So I had to change it.
First car?
Yeah.
What was your first car, though, for real?
What was your first
My
car?
first car was a Pontiac Sunbird.
Oh,
Pontiac
hell yeah. I know
Sunbird.
exactly.
It was brown,
Yeah,
though.
that sounds
I
really
wasn't
good.
too happy.
Did it have the Firebird on
No,
it?
it was kind of the basic model, you know.
Okay, yeah, but still pretty.
stick
Those
shift.
used to-
Yeah, they used to
was
haul
it
butt.
V8?
No, it was like a tiny, like probably
You think
Four
four?
banger?
Cylinder, yeah.
Think of four? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I had a Geo Metro one year.
Oh, my
parents,
God.
My parents bought for my senior year a Geo Metro.
The
'cause I said this would be
hatchback?
Wow.
the hatchback one. There was a 3-cylinder 5-speed.
Yeah,
3-cylinder
they did make
5-speed.
that.
It's like a go-kart.
That helped. That helped to go up the hills because you would downshift, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
could make
It's like
it up
riding
the
a
hills.
bike.
And I took me and two buddies down for spring break that year to Panama City Beach. We made it down on $8 and back.
dang.
$8 and back because a 3-cylinder and gas
Yeah.
was so cheap
Like
back
99
then.
cents
So
or something.
it was like less than $1 a gallon.
Yeah.
And I filled it up, and it was, you're like 30 miles a gallon or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's true.
So we made it down, and then we didn't drive it anywhere because nobody wants to be seen
No.
in the Geo Metro
Yeah.
hatchback going down the strip. So we got in somebody's truck and went up and down the strip,
That's
right? So
hilarious.
nobody did that. But we got out, it looked like his clown car because we were all 6 foot, or better.
Yeah.
And so you had one guy stuck in the back, and then
Y'all
two
in
in
there
the
5
front.
deep, or-
And just three. Three's all you could do.
Oh,
and
it was a small back
The back
seat.
seat
It
is
was
so
the
small.
yeah, it was the hatchback though. It was a 2-door
Yeah,
hatchback,
I don't know if I ever got into one,
3-cylinder
actually.
Geo Metro.
Yeah.
It was not my finest day. I got rid of it as quick as I possibly could.
I had an
But I think,
89 Dodge Colt.
Like,
Motivation.
a $7,000 vehicle, brand new, all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was honestly, I don't know. That's the most embarrassing car I ever drove.
Yeah, that
for
was
sure.
my first one was a Dodge Colt. It was pretty bad.
I mean, I had a 1987 Dodge Omni, which wasn't much better, but again, that broke down all the time. So then having something brand new, a 95 Geo Metro hatchback,
Well, I said this before on the show, is like your kids, their first car should be stick. Everybody should know how to drive stick.
Absolutely.
They don't make them anymore. They don't make them anymore. What are you buying that's stick now?
Probably, you're right. It's probably like Camaros or like fast cars.
Metro.
If you go into the Porsche dealership, so I had a 911 Turbo S that I built directly from me. I built everything on it, and I had it for 5 or 6 years, and I wanted something different. But I built it exactly like I wanted. Had it made for me in Germany, but it was an upcharge to go stick. Yeah. They would charge me extra.
You save on gas, though, I'd imagine.
Maybe, but there's nothing can shift better than their shifter is the fast. Like if you want to go 0 to 60 in 2 point whatever seconds, you have to use like their, I don't even know what it's called, PSQ or whatever it is.
Paddle shifter?
No,
just
the regular shifter, and then they've got a launch code sequence you can do in the Turbo S, and then you just basically, as soon as the light turns green, you just
go
hit your gas and. It will give that you hit that launch sequence and you hit your gas and lay off the brake and it's
I haven't looked at new cars in a hot minute, so I don't know if they have. I would imagine trucks still have standard. But you're saying like a lot of models.
I don't think there. I really don't think there is It is not a manual shifter anymore. But by the way, this is a perfect time for us to pitch to our commercial at True North Pest Control and our sponsors over there.
Yo. True North Pest Control. They are all over Central Florida, Georgia, and they just moved here to the Emerald Coast. I just switched my service over to them. You got to check them out. Tell them JB sent you. They'll take care of you. We are a bug-free podcast because of them. True North Pest Control. Now back to the show.
All right, we are back. We are back again. So thank you so much for being here. And man, Chris, I'm excited about. Can you give us kind of a
little background?
Like a little background on you. Yeah. Tell us, I brought you in here for a reason, but I want you to tell kind of like
what's the reason you brought me in here?
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Canadian on the show.
First Canadian. Well, he's actually American, though.
I am both.
Okay. Were you born in Canada?
I'm dual citizen.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Dual citizen. So he did get his citizenship here.
Yeah, before they closed the wall.
Before they closed it off.
The ice wall up there. Huh?
That ice wall.
Yeah. You just got in.
I did.
Just beat the wire.
Oh, he could have got in for the $5 million gold card or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Hey,
that's right.
How about that? All my friends in Canada right now are thinking about that.
That's kind of crazy, honestly.
It is kind of crazy.
Hey, they sold 1,000 of them in 1 week.
Wow.
Apparently.
That's pretty good.
That's some pretty good dough.
It's not surprising.
It's not bad.
Probably all Saudis.
Could be.
A lot of oil money for sure.
That's what I feel like.
A lot of oil money. So kind of give us a background, because I do want to take our viewers in, because I know you have so much business background. You've been on the radio. You pour into a lot of people, but I want you to tell a little bit about how we got here. You can give me kind of the helicopter view.
Yeah. How far back?
As far back as you want to go, and a decent time.
Diapers.
Yeah.
And so, I'll go back when I really started to understand business. How about that?
Yes, that sounds great.
That was 16.
Oh, nice.
I got handed a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
I was in the Amway business.
Okay.
I was in.
At 16?
Yes, sir.
Soaps and
whatever else they sold in that little book back in the day.
Holy
It wasn't electronic. It was like a thick, like,
and you went
Sears
door
book.
to door.
I did.
Yeah. 16.
I was a door-to-door knocker for a long time in my life, and that carried through into some of the things I did later. But Amway helped me buy my first house.
Okay.
So, it's a great organization. They care. They put you in front of mentors and coaches, and I just saw
the Amway Center in Orlando, isn't it?
Well,
it was the Amway
Center. It was back in the day. Now it's Quickstar.
Okay.
Around the world, it just got big and probably out of hand, and probably not the same company. Yeah. But that's where I started. I learned how to interact with people, twice my age, or if not way older, in their living rooms, doing circles on whiteboards and showing them how they can access my products cheaper, and it would come right through their door. And I was the guy who was going to bring it by. So I did that for 2 years, bought my first house. And then, I figured out that, I was pretty good at sales. I continued, gleaming from everybody around me. Yeah. I started to work on, what was kind of next, where I wanted to go. I went to York University. I came out of York going right into Pepsi Cola So
that's where you got into the Pepsi.
That was my next move. Yeah.
All right, and that was in Canada, Canada.
Yes, it was all in Canada, in Toronto.
In Toronto. Mm-hmm. And is that where you were born?
I was.
And when did you come over to the stateside south
10 years
of the border?
ago.
10 years ago.
10
so you've
years
been
ago.
here 10 years.
I have.
When did you become a U.S. citizen?
23.
23, so not
recent,
that long ago. Yeah.
Well, it takes a little while. You have to get a visa, then you got a green card, and you have to have your green card for 5 years at least. Okay. Then you can apply. So it took about 7 years.
Did you have to do a test?
I did. Mm-hmm. Yes,
hardest question on the test?
No sirs here.
No sirs here. By the way, we just a $10 podcast.
It's all civics. I think probably learning more about your government system was pretty detailed.
Legislative branch,
like all that.
Senate. How many senators did each state get?
Exactly, and it was detailed. House, so I studied through I guess multiple choice.
Right.
But they don't.
So
ask
you didn't Christmas tree it.
They don't ask you in multiple choice. No, right.
Oh, they don't.
They don't. Wow. You studied in multiple choice, but they ask you for the actual numbers, straight up, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have to know like what each state has in because it's based on population in the House, and in the Senate it's 2 and 2, right?
Yeah. There's 100 questions. They can ask you any 10 of the 100 questions.
What do you got to get?
Yeah. What do you have?
What's your?
You have to get 6 right.
6 out of 10
questions, 6 right, 60%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is only 4 that you can miss.
I wonder what the high school graduation, like that number, if they could pass
totally
that test.
Agree.
You should try that.
I bet it would be pretty close.
Pretty low, right?
I think
so.
For most Americans.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I feel like
think
it would
so
be challenging.
Too.
Yeah.
Well, and crazy enough, I pledged allegiance to the flag when I was in elementary school and maybe high school. Maybe we did a pledge.
You
did a pledge in high school?
I did in high school my junior and senior year because it was a K through 12 high school.
Right.
We did the morning show and it was on there.
Okay.
So the whole school watched that every morning.
Yeah.
I think we did it in
I feel like we did it in high school too. I know
do
I
they
did
do
it in
now?
elementary. I don't know. I was at the career day, but I mean, when I came, I just don't know if I think we did. I think we did.
I feel like it's like an intercom system.
I think I remember standing up in the library with some of the other guests that were there for career day, and I feel like I did pledge allegiance to the flag again. But now I know you would have probably done that
for sure.
But then there's also like you kind of pledge allegiance to the Constitution, right?
Absolutely.
So that's something I've never really. I don't know that I've done that.
Well,
if you had to know the Constitution forward and backwards, nobody. I mean, that would be a tough one.
I was sitting at a poker one time, and I'm not going to say who it was, but we were debating over something in the Constitution, and this guy got up off the poker table and went to like his desk because he worked in the building, and he grabbed a pocket Constitution and brought it out. He threw it at me. He said, "Here, you can find the answer." I was like, "There's zero chance I'm going to look through this pocketbook." I was like, "I'll just Google it." Like, "Hey Siri."
Now you can use AI.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. That's so good, man. That's so good. But so you were in Toronto. You kind of leveling up in business. I know you were doing some other things. Like when you left Toronto and came here, what were you involved in?
I built an energy company, so I was an energy broker.
Yeah. What does an energy broker look like? I meant to ask you this other day. We were talking, and you were telling me energy broker, and I'm like,
sure.
Imagine you can sell about anything, but I mean, I didn't know how that works.
So I swapped commodities. Large users with large suppliers.
Got you.
Essentially, I went after the big guys.
But how in the world does that work? Because I mean, when I'm hearing energy broker, I mean, I have one place I can go to energy for my house. That's
here
in
Florida, yes.
But in other places, so up north, it's different.
There are deregulated states, and then there's regulated states.
So you're playing much more in the deregulated states.
That's correct.
And so there's somebody that is providing energy.
Yes.
How are they getting their energy?
The
How
molecule.
Are they make it?
It's still the same way. Still through the utility that you have. Still through the energy providers that create it.
Okay.
But it's all about financial swaps. So you're actually looking at the commodity, and you're figuring out how much you want to pay in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all future based.
Gotcha.
And if you want to hedge your risk based on
I'm
what the
going
volatility
to use this much more
energy.
So we used to do in our business in sanitation, when I would go to negotiate rates at the landfill, I would future my rates out, right?
Same kind of
thing. I would guess on where I would be, and I might even add it 30%, and I'd say, okay, I know I can get this amount of tonnage for the next 5 years. Knowing year one, I would never even come close.
Right.
But by year 4, I should be exceeding it and paying and shoring up the 1 and 2 year.
Sure.
So I was future heading it, and then I'd bet it, and I'd sign on the dotted line for that rate. So I would get as best negotiated rate as I could get for like the next 5 years.
And energy is very volatile.
So maybe the same way you're doing
very
that.
Much.
Would there be escalators as well? Like if certain things get out of whack, they've almost got to escalate, right?
It depends what product you have. So there's many products. You can do a block hedge. You can do a full price hedge.
Yeah.
Just variations.
Did you
seasonal.
like that? Did you like that work? I mean,
I loved it because it's something that you didn't go to school to do that.
Right.
I bumped into it. I was at Pepsi and I got headhunted into a company that he was looking for a sharp guy that can come in and, help the sales guys. I had 250 salespeople that I walked from Pepsi into a role that I had no business really being in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so that's fake it till you make it sort of thing, right?
It was it was a connection that I had with him, and he wanted to challenge me to see if I can grow. And he was just that type of guy, and he was really cool. My first mentor.
Yeah, awesome.
He was a guy that was only 6 years older than me at the time.
How old were you when
I turned 29? Almost. Yeah, I was almost 30.
Okay.
When I walked in his office, and he was 36.
Would you say about 6 years then at Pepsi? I mean, when you graduated college, like 22, 23?
So I was almost 7 years. So I went into Pepsi on what they call the executive fast track.
Okay.
So I did almost every position from branding, marketing, sales, key account management.
They were spinning you through
They were putting me through everything that they could, and so that I had a very wide breadth on what was happening, and
I do feel like I need to say Coca-Cola one time.
You could say that.
I'm from Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta.
Coca-Cola. So, of course.
Yeah.
It's the original, baby. I'm from Atlanta.
But when you put me on the hot seat, I had to go with Pepsi.
It's fair. I get it. There's a war there with it.
But I was in the wars. Just
I know you were. Yeah. If you worked for Pepsi, you were. And
I was in the
drink. If you were drinking a Coca-Cola while you worked at Pepsi, is it true? You were terminated, right?
Yeah.
But it was the same way the people I knew at Coke, right?
Coke, yeah, absolutely.
It said you could not be caught dead drinking a Pepsi if you were at Coke.
Absolutely not.
And they were dead serious.
They got the can wraps now, though. You can put the can in.
I think that would be. I think it'd still be a delicate issue, though.
That's the commercials they came out with, though.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, back in that day.
Oh, they had.
Yeah,
them,
they would slide the little Coke off the Pepsi can from the Coke driver driving around. That's our commercials, anyway. But it was a big war. It was a huge war. We Pepsi won in Canada.
Yeah,
but
in certain areas, I'm sure they did.
Coke destroyed everything in the United States, for sure.
Pepsi also, though, maybe people don't know this, or maybe they do, but Pepsi also kind of diversified as well. You don't realize how big Pepsi is. It's massive. I mean, you already know it's big because of the soft drink, and they've diversified in soft drinks, but like Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Isn't there? There's some other like fast food restaurants that PepsiCo owns.
Absolutely.
Are they own Taco Bell?
They own Taco Bell. You cannot get
KFC.
KFC?
Yeah, I knew
Taco Bell.
Yeah, so they own several of these franchises. Now, I don't know how they franchise them. I don't understand the inner workings of it. So I don't know if they just own the platform and then franchise them out. I really don't know.
Hostess Frito-Lay?
Yeah, right. It's PepsiCo.
PepsiCo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big company.
They looked at like the snack world.
Gatorade?
And is it Gatorade? Pepsi as well, too?
Mm-hmm.
Snapple
that was
too.
Snapple?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Lots
I thought Gatorade was, but Powerade. It's Powerade.
Yeah.
We launched Aquafina. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because Dasani is the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, they
were late
basically
to
had
the
the
game.
same. Yeah,
They were late to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bottled water game.
So
right?
Coke was chasing Pepsi on getting all the
Well, diversifying the soft drinks, but Coca-Cola doesn't really own any. They didn't diversify in the food and the beverage. They didn't diversify really
they're
from
in
beverage.
a lot of restaurants, though. Somehow,
the partnerships are big.
The partnerships are big. Yeah, they did really good with their bottlers too.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, McDonald's is pretty good too. So when you got out of that game, I know you also have done some radio work. You were at Florida Man Radio. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I came down here, I started a podcast in 2015 because I didn't have a visa.
Yeah.
I couldn't work for money, so I knew a podcast wasn't going to make me any money.
not for a while.
Well, not for a minute.
Yeah, not for a minute. Yeah. So I just got busy meeting people. I'm a networker, and what a great way to connect with people.
It really is a great way.
It's an amazing way.
So you've had the On the Move podcast.
No, it was actually called Think Bold, Be Bold.
Think Bold, Be Bold. Mm-hmm. That was the podcast in 2015.
That's correct.
Did that rotate into a radio?
It did. It actually brought me to On the Move. I was going through some personal challenges, just being here for as long as I have and not having like a network of family really was challenging. And so I decided that I was going to, well, it happened a couple different ways. Think bold, be bold. I had a partner and he was not feeling well, and it just sort of everything landed on me. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get on the move.
Okay.
And that's where...
And then it's on the move, baby.
On the move, just started from there. So that was in 2018.
So because I know how much money that you make in podcasting, what did you do on the side to and you're legal now?
Yeah.
So, and nobody listens to this $10 podcast. But I mean, what did I do for a side hustle? Because you had to
I had residual.
Out, right?
I had residual.
Okay, so you had the ability to
I had
find some investments and do some different things.
I made a lot of money in energy.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to do other things.
Perfect.
For sure.
Because I'm thinking, I know where podcast, how long it takes.
It takes
so how did you get on the radio though?
Actually, someone was at a networking event and said, you'd have a great face for radio. And,
oh my God.
What a compliment. I had to throw that in, right? And I said, really interesting, what radio platform, and it was JVC Studios out of Fort Walton Beach that was with 103.5 FM.
103.5
We're
FM.
live.
Yes, baby.
It's Saturday. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings, I did a coaching show.
A coaching show.
Oh, so they do like actual, it's a talk show radio station?
I had a talk show radio show. Okay. It was 8 a.m. in the morning on Saturdays, and I got on there for an hour and knocked it out. I just felt like I had a whole room of people that I was talking to. And I'm a coach, so I just pretend people were having problems, and I'd tell them how to fix them.
That's so good.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. And that's something we're going to dive into is that coach world, because I know you do a lot of coaching as well, and you work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, a lot of people in our community and outside of our community.
For sure.
And it's amazing, ever since I've gotten to meet you, how many people know you. It's really, I mean, you've been here 10 years. In this area, 10 years?
10 years, sir.
That's amazing. Again, no sirs here. That's my dad. So we're just $10 podcast. Is that the Canada? I didn't know the Canadians were so polite.
What do you mean you didn't know that?
I mean, I thought it was only from the South. I thought it was only from the South.
Politeness and syrup, dude. Everybody knows this. I mean, they're super polite.
And skates.
Isn't it A?
Yeah, hockey.
A? And what's the other one? Is A and hockey and
about.
Yeah. About. And what's the
boot,
you've got some but you've got that there's some poutine or poutine. Tell me, what is poutine anyway?
Poutine is French fries.
Okay.
Homemade French fries are best. Like really nice potatoey French fry, and it's got like a beef gravy.
Sounds awesome.
And then it's the beef gravy smothers over cheese curds.
Oh, good grief.
And so it all melts. Like
sounds awesome.
Well, sounds like a heart attack. I feel like I could get that at Waffle House.
If you do a line on Toronto, right? In Toronto, like the southernmost city in Canada?
Pretty much.
It was like, if you do a parallel line, it was like how much of America is still above that point in Canada.
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
They're like the population, there's more Americans living above Toronto.
So like North Dakota sort of thing, Oregon.
Mostly the other way. Maine, Vermont,
Michigan,
Rhode Island,
Michigan.
It's like wherever.
Yeah,
I saw something the other day on that.
So they might have poutine there. You might
Toronto?
Find that in in like a Maine, maybe perhaps, Michigan,
for
perhaps.
Sure.
There's a lot of
Quebec influence for sure.
Exactly.
That's where it's really from. I mean, it's St. Albert cheese, and it's a gravy, and it's got the French fries.
Do you ever? Is there anything in Canada that you just miss?
Poutine.
You do miss that? Sorry, I nailed it.
You nailed it. I actually thought about opening up a company here.
Dude, it would
30,
crush
30A.
Poutine.
Oh my God!
Oh my
Don't be telling people that. That's a great
now
idea.
It's done.
As many Canadians that come down,
we'll edit it out. We'll bleep that part.
I will find you.
That's hilarious. That's actually genius. That is genius or something.
That is so good.
30A poutine. I think it'd crush it.
Yeah. I think it would.
Yeah. It would definitely do great.
I'm looking for investors.
Yeah, hey, babe, you never know. It's always a tough business to be in. That's the one thing I said is I will never be in restaurant business.
But so
far I've done pretty good.
That one I studied. Potatoes are actually huge margin.
Sure they are.
And you're talking French fries, cheese, and gravy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's not a lot to it.
Plus, you could do like right? I mean,
I
feel like Mexican food, the margins on Mexican food are so large.
Yeah. That's why we have so many.
That's why we have so many. That's right.
They give away free chips.
Pretty much. I mean, and they make them too. It's crazy. So, the good ones, we'll make them in-house, and I mean, but it's just ridiculous how inexpensive rice and beans are, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I talked to a Mexican restaurateur who was telling me the margins are better in that than a lot of the steakhouses and things of that nature.
Yeah,
but of course that's a business I don't know. Did you play hockey?
I didn't.
You didn't. So you didn't play hockey. You played any sports growing up?
Oh yeah.
What was?
I was a fighter.
Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So boxing or
wrestling.
like wrestling?
I started off in wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
like
I grew
Roman
up in
Greco sort of wrestling?
Both freestyle Roman Greco.
Okay.
I grew up in a tough part of Toronto, and my parents.
Is there tough parts of Toronto?
There is.
Yeah, where Drake's from, dude.
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah, he's got to be from there too.
He's from the wrong side of the track.
Well, he has a nice side of the tracks now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's.
Did you see that drone video he had recently? He was like he's showing his suite or whatever, and then he was acting. He threw it through. I mean, it's totally.
Was that in Toronto though?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was set up. I think it was set up though. He acted like somebody came in to see him or something.
Dude, he flew it right up to his balcony. Yeah.
Right. But the way he threw the shoe, if that's how he throws the shoe, he should have been made fun of on the wrong side of the track. Let's just say that
he didn't quite get that right.
He didn't get the shoe throw right.
No, he failed.
Yeah, he looked like he had never thrown anything in his life.
He's our Drake correspondent.
Is he
Cade
really?
is all about Drake.
He's all about Drake.
He loves him.
So he was not with Kendrick Lamar then during the Super Bowl.
No,
he was anti-Kendrick Lamar then.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
Not. Yeah. At any rate, let's get back to the show. So wrestling, you did wrestling.
Yeah, I wrestled
Roman,
13 years.
Really?
I wrestled, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever come south of the border and wrestle some?
Yeah. I wrestled in Ohio, New York, Maine.
Those are
Ohio's like
that's legit spots.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Ohio,
Pennsylvania.
How'd you fare?
I was a good wrestler.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Champion.
What was your weight class?
I was actually 185.
Right. You can ask guys this, by the way. You can never ask girls.
Right. But I wrestled 170, 172.
Oh, because you're always cutting weight.
Yeah.
I can remember my brother one tournament, he had to run around in trash bags. My brother wrestled. He was a state champion wrestler out of Georgia. But he'd run around in trash bags and do all this stuff. I remember one tournament, he ended up cutting his hair. He had a little longer hair, so he just took snippets out of his hair and then he weighed himself upside down for whatever reason. Upside down
on he's doing a handstand.
Essentially, it's because I guess it shot like you. All he needed to be is have his body on there, and there was. I don't know how he did it. I wasn't in there. I mean, he's just like completely nude, upside down on a thing, and just got into the tournament.
That's a sight.
So if you can see him, and then he left his hair. He left his hair all squirrely and wrestled, and he picked up the name from that weekend called Psycho. So everybody would cheer Psycho, Psycho.
He was
Psycho.
probably a heavier class, so he was like 200,
152.
Really,
152, but he weighed like he should have been wrestling like 175.
Okay,
so he dropped all that weight to 152 is when he won his state champion. I think he went up his senior year to 165, but because it just became too hard for him to hold the weight. But his junior year, he wrestled 152. I mean, there wasn't an ounce of body fat. I mean, he would open windows in the winter and sleep without his covers on just so his body would shiver every night. I mean, just I think things that were
psycho.
Not safe. Not safe at all. They would never allow you. He was telling me now they really watch what you can cut, and they give you a certain percentage.
Sure.
So when you come and start the season, your weight's either going to be close to it or they're going to set the amount of weight.
They don't want you
because they don't want these
hurting yourself, getting unhealthy.
Yeah,
there's more regulations now.
Yes, big time. So I think you've got people
and closer to your weight,
which is so much healthier. I mean, because it's not healthy to do what these kids did.
No, I wouldn't think it'd be good for your joints and all that stuff too. Like you're used to weight and then you drastically lose it.
I mean, I don't think any of it's great. There's a lot of discipline can be involved in wrestling. I mean,
the most disciplined.
They said jiu-jitsu is the best thing, right?
Well,
I did some jiu-jitsu. I would say wrestlers are probably a lot more disciplined.
They have. If you can wrestle, the turning jiu-jitsu on, you're just learning
that's what I did.
8 more moves, 10 more moves. I mean, you certainly could get more proficient, but if you start out wrestling and then go to jiu-jitsu, I think you've got a massive leg up.
I did both. Yeah, and then boxing.
My brother went in the Marine Corps, and at his platoon, they would do wrestles, about and figure out who was
crushing them.
He killed everybody because most people don't know. Like you just, once you take somebody to the ground, one arm bar or leg lock.
All men are the same size on the ground.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, that's good stuff. Why don't we get into some other stuff, because you've done that. You've got the pod, you Energy Broken, you've done the radio show, you're coaching people, but you also have this Level Up conference. Can you tell tell us a little bit about the Level Up Conference?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a transformational chamber. That's what I call it.
I love it.
Yeah, people come, and I didn't really know what I was doing when I wanted to, do it.
I mean, I've never even thought about starting a conference for business leaders and thought provokers and leaders.
Well, there's nothing down here. Everybody flies everywhere else and spends thousands of dollars, hours away, and it's a lot of work to go to a conference.
Yeah. Sure.
Here I figured, you know what? We've got a great background. We live at the beach.
Yeah,
bring
folks here.
I'd rather come here. Yeah.
Well, but if you,
who wouldn't
want to go to Minneapolis or Destin?
Right.
Destin.
I think go to Chicago and do something, or I can come to the beach.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, that's a good idea.
I called it Level Up. I was driving back from a conference in Louisiana, New Orleans, and I was coming over that big bridge, and the sun was coming up, and I was just thinking to myself, I won't swear, but I was like, I got to F and level up.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be crazy enough to start the first conference down here and bring big speakers in and mix them with some local speakers. And
yeah, baby.
It was amazing.
So good.
And my first year, we did just over 100 people in a small distillery in Santa Rosa Beach.
Yeah,
it's at 98, Distillery 98.
Yeah.
We transformed it into a theater.
Very cool.
We had a great time, 2 days. And then I did a mastermind with a couple of the big speakers, like Jeff Hoffman was here. He keynote for me. He started Priceline.
Right.
Oh,
and great guy. Yeah. He came here. Everybody loved him. And so I said, well, let's do it again. Let's be crazy enough to do it again.
Yeah.
So 2024, we had about
second year 24.
175 people.
Nice.
And we saw some economic development out of it as well. People were exchanging, opportunity and making money with each other and making friends. And I got so many testimonies of
course,
what Level Up did for people, and
the connections.
It was fun.
Aside from learning and mindset and reframing things and all that,
it's the
you
energy.
got the connection as well from folks.
Yeah, it's inspiring and sparking people, for growth. I love growth-minded people.
100%.
Just hanging out with winners, talking to people that, are going somewhere or want something new. I mean, the conversations are so different.
Well, and if you're not growing, you're dying, right? That's the old adage, right? So if you're not growing, you're dying. You got to always...
And most people are comfortable.
Level up, you've always got to be leveling up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of it. So we're going to level up again this year and put 400 people in the room.
You think it's going to get that big?
Yeah, I'm already seeing it.
Okay, so when is the 2025? For
September 25th to the 27th.
September 25th. And how can people find out about Level Up Conference?
Soon enough, they can, go buy a ticket. It'll be early bird in May 1. We're going to launch the site, but they can go to levelupepicevents.com.
Perfect. Levelupepicevents.com. We'll flash that up for sure on the screen, because this pod will hit just a few weeks before May 1. So
awesome.
Say it again.
Levelupepicevents.com.
Levelupepicevents.com. Set your dates for May 1 so you can get that early bird.
Yep, https:// Where's the location this year at?
It's going to be at Oceans Church this year, so I'm really excited.
Church. Nice. So you've got a real theater. I mean, a real theater stage. Screens.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've leveled up.
I've leveled up. I feel like
smoke machines.
You could probably
inside
get dry ice, baby.
Yeah,
we will.
Let's do it.
We will have some fun stuff for sure. Some new stuff. You got to always make it a little bit more 100%. Interesting for sure.
Do the speakers have a walkout theme when they come?
Oh yeah, all of them. That's a must for me.
Was
it music and just getting people
amped up?
Yeah.
Was it Jerry's first time here, the Priceline guy?
His name's Jeff.
But, was it? Yeah, his first time in the area?
Jerry was Jerry Anderson, my friend.
Oh yeah, Jerry.
Jeff Hoffman. Yeah, he was here for the first one and the second, and he's coming back for the third.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, is he going to give the same thing, or is he changing?
He changes everything.
That's so good.
Yeah, he changes it all. He's got tons of stories.
Of course he does.
He speaks in 205 countries around the world
every year.
He's the chairman of the entrepreneur. He's the chairman of the Global Entrepreneur Network. I had to get that out. Okay. The Global Entrepreneur Network, which is now in 215 countries. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just asking, is this his first time to this area in general?
He's come here a few times. He likes it up here. I'm trying to see if he'll, get a place.
He hasn't gotten a place on 38. That's where all the cool people go, right?
It's true.
So,
Alice Beach.
Yeah, you can get something there for a few $1 million.
Yeah,
well,
just a few.
Several. We're past
several few.
We're several few now. Yeah, but so the Level Up Conference at Oceans church this year.
Yes, sir.
And you are seeing it, the trajectory almost, you're predicting maybe even double what you've done. That's amazing.
I like to put 450 people in, but I called it 400. It'll fit 450.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many days will the conference be? 2. Okay.
It's a 2-day conference.
Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
I'm actually changing up the format a bit. Thursday night, we're going to launch it.
Okay.
We'll have 2 keynotes that evening, and then just a lot of networking and fun.
Yep.
The next day, we'll go full Friday from like 8 a.m. to like 5.
Okay.
Tons of networking. It's all going to be, I want it to be workshop style this year.
Oh, very good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So they can come and actually get work done.
Yeah.
And Saturday we'll finish it off, and I usually do a mastermind.
Very good.
With a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
The VIPs.
Very good.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so good, man. Amazing stuff. Way to go to bring that out. How many countries do you think, or maybe it's states? How many, like where's the let's just do that. Where's the furthest away someone's come from?
Australia, actually.
Australia.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Was that like your mom or dad?
That was my good friend. He came. But all over the states, California, Kansas. We had people from New York, obviously Florida and South Florida, Toronto. I want to even say Dakotas.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of from like Atlanta? Do you get the metropolis like Atlanta's, the Birmingham's?
For the most part, I think this year we will.
Okay.
Probably see a lot more people from those areas. Mm-hmm. The entrepreneur platform here is so much different, and so many new people here that have businesses other places that live here.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So COVID opened that up, right?
That's true.
This year, I think we'll probably be able to tap into some of that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So probably Atlanta.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, New Orleans.
That's so good.
Yeah. New Orleans.
When you work with entrepreneurs, what do you see as one of their biggest mistakes?
Not knowing who they are. Truth.
Really?
Yeah.
They start stuff. Elaborate on that. What does that mean to you?
For me, like? I think that they haven't really explored. Put it this way. I truly believe if you don't own your story, the story is going to own you.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing something that you really actually want to do, then you just get caught up in it. I see so many people just spinning around because they're not doing something they really love. Now, that's a big one. They haven't researched. That's another thing. A lot of people don't research the industry they want to get into. They just kind of start it, try to figure it out. A lot of entrepreneurs are just, we just go do things.
Yeah.
And then we figure out along the way. It's like jumping off a cliff and then growing your wings on the way down. It's like, so you don't land hard.
You build a spaceship as it's taking off, sort of thing.
Or change every tire on the, 18-wheeler going down the road while you're trying to drive it. It's a lot of that. So I think stepping back a little bit, researching the, place where you want to spend some time, and, what's growing, what not competitive, why do you want to get into such a competitive marketplace, and try to drown yourself in trying to keep up with things. And so I pick things that are different, try to stay in a different lane.
Right. Why do I want it to be the 8th Mexican restaurant down here? Right.
Yeah. Unless it's in a really good spot. Yeah. And that comes down to research and, just sort of people that are entrepreneurs are haphazard.
I think usually I find that entrepreneurs are able to take risk. So they're not risk adverse. In other words, they're able to step out and
you probably got to take a little risk
because you do have to take risk when you're an entrepreneur. One thing I would say to follow up on yours is I see when I work with entrepreneurs sometimes then they're in something and they don't. I don't know that you have to love everything you're in. You just have to love doing, like building.
Yes.
So some people need to love what they're in, and some people just need to love building. Like we were in sanitation. And I remember somebody told me, said, I hate sanitation. I don't want to be a garbage man. I was like, well, I didn't necessarily think I was going to grow up and be a garbage man either. Mm-hmm. However, I love to make money. Mm-hmm. I love to solve problems. I love to see things to come together. I love to support a staff and grow a team and execute. And so you can focus on, sometimes you can it's a reframing. Like you may be making widgets and say, I hate making this widget, but you may like providing a great service. You may like making money. You may like looking at the number part of it and the aspects and building a team. I don't know what it is. So sometimes I think you have to reframe what it is when you're in it.
Well, and have the skill sets as well.
Well, that's true.
Leverage your skill sets. Most entrepreneurs don't know how to sell.
Yeah.
I see that.
No, that's it. Well, and if you don't know how to sell, you need to find somebody that does, right?
Well, that's it.
So, I mean, that's where I think as an entrepreneur, you don't actually have to know how to do everything. You just need to find the team that build a team that can do it, right?
For sure.
But you're right. Starting out, I think that's almost the key, I think, to being a good entrepreneur is knowing what you don't know.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know and knowing that you don't know something is super important. Like when you talked about that a little bit, but what do you focus on to level up your organization?
My organization?
Any organization.
Well, I level up me. I mean, that's a big one.
So invest in yourself.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be growth minded, and you have to go inward and figure out some things first. And I think once you figure that out, we project. Mm-hmm. So if you're going through a lot of stuff in your business, you got to look inward and go find out what's going on in you. That's what I look at, and that's how I coach. A lot of times people are, doing things that, it's just, they're always doing the same thing, just in the comfort zone.
Doing the same thing over and over and again and expect a different result is the definition of insanity, right?
Absolutely.
And so we said that before on here, but, not trying new things and not saying what can I do and where can I go. Oh, I mean, what are some of the secret sauces that you see people do really well?
Well, I think you'd have to have clarity, confidence, that makes a big difference in your business, to level up. And, for me, it's always been, figuring out how I can serve people, win-win. How do I get into a service? For instance, when I got into energy, I knew that I was going to save people money, and that's a big thing in business, making sure that you can save people money. So I like to figure out how I can serve them, how I can, help them get what they want.
Yeah.
And, I think that that's probably, a good place to start.
I do think that's a good place to start. One of the things I always think too, the secret sauce for me, is, heck, I think I just lost my train of thought. You said something so good, and I went with it, and I was like, oh, yeah, well, I need a button.
I have
for that
a secret
one. That's
sauce,
brilliant.
Definitely.
That's not for you, Becker.
I gamify everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my secret sauce. I help people gamify.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, the smallest tasks, are sometimes the ones you don't want to do, but if you do them, I always reward myself.
Yeah.
So I find ways that I can win the day every day.
So, and that was, I want to piggyback on that because I think that's where I was headed was that the secret sauce a lot of times for entrepreneurship though, and what most people don't realize is it's actually doing the most mundane things, right?
It's consistent.
Doing all the things, all the little things nobody wants to do and doing it all the time, right?
Yeah.
That is what I found to be the secret sauce because most of the time that's the stuff people
That's
miss.
hard for people to do, yeah.
Well, it is because you want to do the sexy stuff. You want to do the stuff that's in front of the cameras or the stuff that's, leading the organization or, you talk to the CEO goes, well, I'm the big thinker here. Okay, buddy. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. Yeah. All right. I got where you're at. Because you do have to get into the minutia of it and say, I want to do all the stuff that, and if you're not doing it as a CEO, you got to make sure it's being done, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
At some point, you do have staff, you do have employees. The other side, too, that I think is really important for a secret sauce is to make sure you're not unbalanced in your leverage relationship. So in other words, if you're a CEO or you're an entrepreneur out there and you're bringing staff on, you're bringing people on, you got to make sure that there's not this imbalance. In other words, you're not overpaying for service, but you're not underpaying.
Yeah.
Every time there's an imbalance, then it becomes animosity.
For sure.
So the people that you're paying, if they're not paid enough, they don't like you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be, now everybody's going to want to level up their salary, right? Everybody's going to want to do that. But that's a conversation as long as you're balancing things right. If you're growing, they need to grow. If they're growing and you're not, then you're going to have an animosity towards them, and you're going to look at how can I get this service less expensive or that position less expensive. So having that, constantly looking at your levels and making sure that you're rewarding people appropriately is so important in
Big
business.
Time. You got to pay for superstars.
100%.
You got to pay the superstars. They're the ones that are going to show up and. When people start talking about, paying superstars less, then they're going to have a mediocre company for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I always find the superstars pay them well.
That's why I love the commission model the most.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best model there really is.
It is pretty good, especially on the sales floor.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, if you're not doing that, you're not running your company right.
I know people that exclusively run a commission style for them.
Yeah,
and it works.
It's incentive.
My dad grew his whole life was a commission sales rep, and he would not ever have it any other way.
Yeah,
he loved it because it's all on him.
Yeah, I can't take the day off,
He knew that's in large part. I think that's the downside for somebody that's in full-time commission sales is you don't feel like you can, because when you do,
Well, yeah.
It's your own vacation day.
Well, you work harder for
But
those.
you work harder for those.
You find ways.
Right.
I've been a commission guy since I've been, really young, since after Pepsi.
Yeah.
I went into a corporation. Yeah, before that, and sort of took a break in a corporate. But I worked my ass off, and still only got a rubber tree plant and $150,000 in salary, but I was doing $400 million in sales.
Right,
that's crazy.
Well, see, there's that imbalance.
Yeah,
there's
crazy.
that imbalance, and that's where that animosity.
You do a bonus
in.
or something, yeah.
Well, you get bonuses, but I mean, what's a 3 or 5% bonus?
Right,
on
cost of living
on $150,000. Like,
right,
see, that's crazy.
Right,
you're talking maybe I got a bonus for $10,000. And, I still was able to go away for 2 weeks a year, and because if I went any longer, I'd be, not happy.
You're also
getting
talking
back.
about in Pepsi and places like that, you're talking about those 1% companies.
Sure.
Like 98% of our businesses are actually medium businesses or less.
For sure.
Right? So it's 100 employees or less.
Yeah.
92% of them are like under 50 employees. That's the amount of in the business world. So really the ones that are over that several hundred and then thousands of companies.
Yeah, it's a small number.
It's 1 or 2% of our businesses. So really, small businesses make this country, and that's why I'm talking a lot to small business owners. I mean, you're not going to change the big behemoths as much, but we focus on it a lot. Yeah. But in small business owners, when you're a small business owner and taking that risk in your community and growing something, that's where you want to be very leery of that imbalance.
For sure.
Yeah.
To your point about really people being incentivized. When I first started my own company in energy, I moved out of the corporate wing. I still was incentivized really well. I had a lot of really good things that I was able to tap into. But when I went on my own, and I only tell you this just to give you the background of how it really changed my mindset. We did $450 million in 18 months because we were fired up to go and create and. I'm talking, I had a couple of partners and, we were just so excited to, do that and build that and know that, what was on the other side was millions and millions of dollars in commissions.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good. And when you get a team there and you're supporting them and saying, hey, this is available to you, you turn on like a rabid fan base almost, right?
Crazy.
I mean, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
When you incentivize people appropriately, they're ready to go. And you get everybody rowing in the boat the same way.
For sure.
Right. And support them and all of those things. I mean, that's almost the secret sauce right there for sure.
Well, the biggest issue I think with a lot of companies now is they have too many managers, and I think they need to go like with more coaches. You coach people. The biggest thing in a company is I think if you have employees, you got to get their money right.
Yeah, you do.
Get their money right. Doesn't matter where they are in the organization.
Yep.
You get their money right because the problem with most corporations now today, I think the number is like 67% of people are looking for something else.
100%. Well,
they're disengaged
again,
at work.
Today, if you're working in a large corporation,
you're looking already.
Remember, they used to take care of you. My grandfather worked at General Motors on the assembly line. Retired from assembly line, was able to purchase 10 acres of land and retire out and build a house.
401k, all that. Yeah.
He had stock. I mean, he was in his in his late 50s, early 60s. Got a nice gold watch. We retired. He was able to still get cars at
good old days.
They just took care of him well into his retirement years. He didn't work again and lived to late 70s.
Well, that's all those manufacturing jobs got shipped off.
But that's gone. That day's over.
Well, they don't. There's
nobody doing that. And so I think young people today know that if I go work at Procter & Gamble, I'm working there, and I'm using them as an example. I have no clue about their organization, but I'm just saying if I go work there, that person that's maybe in a marketing department is constantly looking for a next marketing job.
Well, and you have to because you're on the chopping block if you're not.
You don't know, right? But you're also jumping because that may be the only way that you get a pay increase.
That's true.
Right?
Well, disengagement's costing 6 companies in the U.S. $6 billion.
For sure.
Because if people go to work not engaged.
Not engaged. Well, I said something to the other day, I produce some other podcasts and I do some other thing in this media world. And I was telling one of my clients, I said, listen, the algorithm on Instagram follows the work life. If you post at like 7 to like 9 in Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are like really big times. People are on the phones looking at the apps.
Yeah.
And not working.
Right. Picks back up again around lunchtime, picks up again around the times that people go home. Thursdays also similar. Fridays die off after like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You shouldn't really even post anything like a late Friday afternoon. Nobody's going to see it. Saturdays, good luck. Like, if you want to post something, fine, but Saturdays and Sundays are not great days to post.
I agree.
Online. But it all follows the American work week, and they're all disengaged. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny how we do that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the social media is really weird because I think I read somewhere I'm going to misquote it, so I don't even want to say it, but it's the amount of hours we look at social media every day is, it might be 6 hours a day.
iPhone, that charts all that.
Yeah, it charts
so
all
you can see.
Yeah.
I always get to my wife with that.
It's probably depressing.
Let's look.
It's probably depressing. How often do you get on, do you think?
In the morning for like 30 minutes to an hour when I'm drinking coffee or whatever.
Okay, so you're on then. And then are you again ever during the day?
I mean, I'm so inconsistent. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I mean, on and off, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
I know you'll collaborate. Like if I collaborate with you on a reel, I know I've got to get it before like 8 o'clock. Like if that reel launches before 8 o'clock, you'll collaborate. Otherwise, it's not until maybe the evening or the next day.
Yeah, I don't get on there a lot. I don't even get on Instagram every day.
No.
So,
No. How often do you think you might be?
I'm on there a lot.
I'm on there way too much, for sure.
Probably.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like
my wife agrees with you.
Well, and I try to teach people how to use it as well, through coaching and how you leverage. It's leverage.
I do think I'm getting better at not like. There's times you're just streaming for no reason, right? Yeah. I do think I'm getting better for a reason because I'm wanting to see a trend. I'm wanting to see what's happening. I'm wanting to stay engaged with the communities that are following me. So if it's entrepreneurial or whatever, I want to
it's research.
It's to a degree.
Yeah.
I have to be careful with it. We have a good friend of ours, Maria Galati Hill, was on our podcast. She's actually blown up. Her social media page for the Galati Yacht Sales is probably the number one social media yacht broker in the world.
Wow.
She has yet to find a yacht company that is got a bigger one.
I wouldn't think it's close.
I don't even think it's close. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't even know where she's at now.
I know. She's got to be over 200,000 now.
I think she was
over 178,000. We looked it up
when she came on with
us. On the pod.
So she's probably
but she grew
over,
it from like 15,000 of that in
a few years.
18 a year and a half, like 18 months.
Yeah. And she's doing an incredible job with it, but she will coach, like she was telling me that she spends about an hour a day researching what's trending in like their genre and how can they remake something to like.
See, I use AI for that.
Do you really? So
absolutely.
Tell me what you do in AI.
I research out absolutely everything. You can drop a link in there. You can drop someone's social in there and do the analysis and ask it to show trends, what I can be doing myself that's similar. Yes, AI can do so much.
Are you just using ChatGPT?
I talk to my AI.
So on this, is it a Apple AI then you're using?
So I use just ChatGPT.
Okay.
I'm actually moving over to Grok.
Grok.
Yeah.
Okay. Gronk. That's the Elon.
Gronk.
Gronk. Is it Gronk?
Gronk, I think. I think it's called Gronk.
Yeah. It might be Grok, but
I don't know.
It might be Grok. Gronk.
Yeah.
They say Gronk's with it.
Yeah.
Elon's the one that
Gronk. Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably superior.
Well, then that one's been it's actually it may be objectively balanced because I think if you
the other one was doing crazy stuff,
but it's also gone off on
ChatGPT.
But isn't Grok has its own AI was like going against something Elon was doing here recently. So
I don't know,
seems like maybe it's objectively
like I said, I don't look at
it's learning
on there.
Yeah, it's learning.
It's learning.
It's learning how to take over.
I think when you saw the other one, they were saying do the first president. It was making them, like.
Okay.
Not look like the first president.
I got you. Okay.
So he decided to develop his own, but I don't use any of it, so I don't know.
I wanted to ask you another question before we're gonna go to a commercial break. But I want to ask you another question. If you are starting out today in a new venture, what market? I mean, what would you see? What markets do you see are emerging markets or new markets?
I would say degenerative health.
Okay.
For sure.
AI.
Yeah.
AI
for sure. AI for sure.
And I would say, like if someone's really trying to, we can't forget the services business to fix
So
things.
I was going to say
HVAC.
like HVAC.
HVAC grows at
plumbing,
9%.
electrical,
yeah.
mechanical.
HVAC grows at 9%, 7 to 9% annually every year.
HVAC's not going anywhere.
It's not. Well, the technology's changing. We're going to get rid of Freon soon.
Yeah.
So that market's going to blow up because everybody's going to have to replace their units.
Everything will be
everything.
When you need a new one, it goes down. It's going to be.
That's it.
We don't have Freon anymore.
Wait,
exactly.
What's going on? What's happening with Freon?
They're coming up with a new component. Freon's bad for the
ozone.
The ozone. It's like hairspray.
Okay, that's the problem is the Freon. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's probably bad for the environment. It's probably
I'm sure it's not great. No,
it's probably not. And there's something, I would hope that it's more efficient and cost less, but I imagine it's probably opposite that.
Right. I mean,
they don't usually when in that world, but that is HVAC is another one in the trade
kind of
world
secret.
that is a secret. Well, you know, I was watching some of these not REITs, but some of these fund managers, you know, and you see these guys where they'll take lots and lots of the pool, you know, billions of dollars, but they're going in and they're buying up HVAC companies all over the country right now.
Yeah,
and consolidating.
I have some good friends doing this.
Putting them in because they realize how big of a business it is, and that is
it's all those little sleepy businesses.
Yeah,
that make good money.
What's great about that, and don't be afraid when these guys buy it, because yes, it will make prices go high, but that just gives these little guys some great opportunities. So if you're a young person out there, check out that HVAC world.
I agree.
It's gonna be great
for sure.
Hey y'all, new customer of True North Pest Control here on the Emerald Coast, Central Florida, Georgia. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they get rid of all the unwanted pests in your house, including termites and mosquitoes. Tell them the Jabroni sent you. Back to the show.
And we are back. So thank you so much for being back. And again, shout out to our sponsors, True North Pest Control. I know they do such a great job. Juice, you switched over to them.
I did.
Too. How was your first
house? Great.
How was your first experience? Great, right? They call you. They tell you they're coming.
Drawing a blank on the kid's name, but he was great. Yeah. They called and told me. Yeah.
Yeah, and they came over. They're super respectful. They're like a superhero. I haven't seen a bug in my house in months now. Months.
Usually, I don't have a problem until it rains like a foot. That's when everything tries to come in.
Everything tries to come in. Then you need that barrier, baby.
You need a barrier.
You need that barrier.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
No problem so far.
Yeah, so we were talking about that emerging markets, but you're right. We were kind of covering like the HVACs and some of the trades. Not to finish on that AI. In the break off camera, we were talking about AI and how big that is. It's just such a
scrape.
I feel like I'm using 1% of ChatGPT right now. I mean, you know, I'm not using enough of it.
I use it more than Google.
Yeah.
Does it have an app? I don't have it. Is it
is an app.
Okay, so I got to get the app.
Yeah, there's probably an app for the Grok or whatever too. I'm guessing
all of them. Yeah,
all of them probably have that. So you could probably research it, get the app, and then I imagine you probably are yours text to speach now.
I talk to it.
So you just say, "Hey, Grok."
I have a full-on relationship with my AI.
You named it and everything. Is it a woman's voice?
It's actually a dude. It's actually a dude.
Probably safer.
I could probably change it.
Is it Canadian? Hey,
you know, I noticed the other day on something.
No, it's American.
I was on some platform and I clicked on the side and it was like talk to AIs. So, and I know a young man that I talked to the other day that was like he has AI going with him. And he had a fight with his girlfriend, and he just talked to it and said, so this is what happened, what went down, how should I respond? And it gave him different prompts.
Oh, my goodness.
Of responses.
The responses are crazy. I might have done that.
Yeah.
Until he gives you the OJ response.
Yeah. So get you a glove.
I want to respond nicely.
Yeah.
I want to be
positive
respectful.
response.
I wonder if it would do that. Like, how do you cover up but first off, like, how do you cover up a murder? Like, now you're in the system.
Oh, now
you're in the system, right?
Now you're asking stuff.
So you would be in the system. Like,
does it record
I've gone
all that?
2020 Dateline now, right now.
Does AI record all that, though?
It has to. You know there's a footprint somewhere. Like, you couldn't do that. I mean, you think about people all the time. They're like, how do I kill someone with ricin? And then the person dies, and you're like, you can't delete your search engine, and that's going to get rid of it, right?
That's so imagine how many servers they have to store all that information, all the ChatGPT interactions.
Yeah,
massive.
I imagine it's got to be more. Do you think that's more power and energy that's being taken in AI than the Bitcoin world now?
Oh yeah,
got to be, right?
It's
like, remember
bigger.
Mining Bitcoins was such a big thing, which I'm still not sure I completely understand.
And they figured that out, but you need a power station for an AI.
Yeah, right.
And you need to be close to a power station for an AI.
I know somebody that has brokered some power before.
Hey, I would love to figure that out. Business, you know, going and figuring out where you can put some AI right next to some big power stations.
For sure,
you need the power.
You need the power, right?
You need the power.
And then the mainframe, I guess. I mean, how big would these?
Massive.
Bro.
Yeah, you can get your
hundreds of thousands of square feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Like an Amazon warehouse for AI. Mm-hmm. And they're continuing to build
I know one that's going to actually happen here in Lynn Haven.
Really?
I can't tell you more.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, is this a JB exclusive?
Could be next.
Come
you
in,
have to
maybe
invite
next
me back
time.
on.
We'll have to come in. Yeah, absolutely, we'll have to do that
That's
again.
my seed to get back
We'll have
on.
to do it
That
again.
might be a good something to look into in the future too, right? Building those types of things. I
Dang.
mean, those
Yeah.
infrastructures. Yeah.
Well, AI in general, I think you're right.
The
That
server farms.
that world is going to take off. And so if you're a young person today and not sure where to mark, you should have something going on in AI. And whatever
Absolutely.
you're doing, even if it's in HVAC, there's probably a way to incorporate AI. If it's in a salon world, it's probably a way to incorporate AI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could incorporate, like, what 2 reels do I need to do? How should I do? Like, even social media, you can incorporate. There's so many things that you could do.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that'd be a way to go. But now it's time for us to play our Delve card game.
Oh, we're
so
doing that.
We're going to
Okay.
do it today. So
Dang,
let's
I
pull
don't
a
even
card.
know about this.
Juice, oh juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Chill.
He is the reigning champion in our poker game from the year-end tournament, and he has played lights out
Bruh.
here recently. I mean, all I can
5 of
say
8,
is
5 of the last
you are
8.
you are getting cards. It is insane.
It is definitely
And
not
you're playing
me. It's-
disciplined.
I've been getting
no,
cards.
You're getting cards, but you are playing disciplined as well. So I have to give you high praise to your poker game right now.
Trick is to wear pockets. And then you can
The
just-
pockets you can
yeah.
slide. I saw you do
Or
that.
sleeves.
I saw you do that. I did place in our last tournament we did, so I felt
Yes.
better about that, and I finished okay. So
Yeah,
I kind of
third, yeah.
redeemed myself because I was like the one before. I was like the first out, which I hadn't had happen to me in.
He shoved all them
couple
with
years.
pocket 10s, and there was 2 queens on the flop, and boy Ryan had a queen. And he checked it to
he
you.
checked it to me
He did what
like
you're
a
supposed to
pro. Like a pro, he checked it to me.
I
Well,
thought I heard
raised it,
Canadian in
checked
you
it
for
to
a
me.
minute there.
I
You
play
said
around
out.
it. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
It's
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
It's
did.
like
I
poutine.
did.
There was the other day I said A, and my wife was like, "Have you gone north of the border all of a sudden?" I said, "I don't know." I said,
It's my influence.
I know. I said I ate lunch with Chris. I don't know what's going on.
And
So,
I never say
you never
A.
do it.
No,
you've
except
lost
30A
it.
poutine.
38
Dude,
poutine.
we got it. This
yeah,
has
we
got to
gotta figure that
Even
out.
if it's a food truck. I mean,
I know,
this got
even
to
a
happen.
food truck.
Dang, right?
Even a
Food truck would actually probably be the way to go.
It would be.
We're
To start.
trademarking it right here.
Yeah. You heard
Anybody
it right
selling
You
here.
heard
food
it
truck.
right here.
You heard it
That's
right
the
here.
JB exclusive.
So this is actually
30A.
a pretty good. Do you need to do the Delve card pitch because they're not paying us yet?
They're not paying us
Yeah.
yet, but Delve Card is a great tool to sit around with your teenagers. DELVE, Delve Card. I used to do this with my kids when they
I
were
love
little.
it.
Because they could sit at the table. How was your day? I don't know. Okay, whatever. But you pull a Delve card, that's a great conversation starter. So we're all going to answer this question.
It's a pretty good question.
All right.
Kind of based around AI. What fictional place do you wish you could visit?
Oh, fictional place. All right.
So I would say Avatar. Probably.
I
That
was
seems
going to
pretty
say
cool.
that Avatar.
I'll
that
go a
was on
different
it.
one.
No,
Or you-
Avatar is good because I was going to
first
say
one I thought of.
Avatar
I was
was
like,
pretty
that's
good.
Cool. Yeah.
Avatar's pretty good.
Dang.
I don't know. Outside of Avatar, I'd say the Truman Show, but I've already visited there.
That's a good spot. Yeah.
We
right
live
there at
here.
Seaside. We live
in
here.
this.
We live in the Truman Show.
I need to watch that again.
Yeah.
I keep saying that.
What's the other? There's probably. Do you have any fictional place?
I'm thinking.
I mean,
I'm definitely thinking.
Yeah,
Fictional.
The Shire. I've been there though.
There's probably some. There's probably some coastlines of Italy in some movies. That I've seen.
But those are real. Like fictional would be like in a book, Star Wars. I mean, some
so
space
it's not
movie.
even.
Maybe.
It's not even a fictional story about a real place. You're saying.
Yeah,
you're
fictional
saying,
was like
okay.
Harry Potter or some crap. I don't know.
Yeah. Harry
Yeah.
Potter might not be bad too. I would.
pretty good one.
Yeah,
I
Harry
haven't
Potter
seen
might
any
not
of
be
those,
bad.
but yeah.
Yeah,
I went
haven't
to the
seen
Harry Potter.
I know,
Have you
I
been to
haven't.
Universal Studios and done the Harry Potter
I
world?
went there like right when it opened. That was the last time.
So
I
it's
went, I
gotten
believe.
even
Yeah, and he
better.
has
It's
no
gotten
idea
even
what he was
better.
looking at.
Yeah,
Right.
I did. I really didn't. I hadn't.
It's gotten even
I've seen
better.
bits and
cool.
pieces, but I've never watched like a full one.
The Universal Studios at Harry Potter are so it's gotten
real.
so
It was
much.
cool. It's so real.
You get in that train and you're in another
So good.
world. I mean, they do
Yeah, I did that.
an
ride.
amazing. Yeah, but there's even
Okay. Yeah, I went
they've
right.
got a couple.
Basically,
They got a
within
new
the year it
ride that
opened.
will. I can't. If I described it to you, it would take away the surprise of this ride. You've never ridden a roller coaster this way before, ever.
Right.
And it's just that cool. In fact, I had a friend that would not tell me about the new coaster, and I'm so glad they didn't because we all went as a family and did it. And there's some twist in this new coaster that I've never actually done before. I could only ride it one time because I'm like a one-time coaster guy, and then I have to take like
what? I did that rock and roll in like 5 in a row.
That was so good.
That's the best one.
Rock and roller coaster is really good. That's at Disney, right?
Yeah,
it's very good.
I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy is probably the best.
I haven't done that one
that I've ever been on.
See, I can't do it. I did Guardians of the Galaxy one time in Epcot, and then I had to lay on a bench for like 30 minutes.
It was that good?
Lightweight.
No, so it has motion in it, the like the 3D sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And you're moving, but it also has. It was like double for me.
So you get motion sickness.
100%. It's the worst. I'm the worst in the 3D stuff. Like when you don't. When you're not moving, but it makes you feel like you're moving. That's when I'm the worst.
Right.
So it does both. It's spinning and makes you feel like you're moving, and you are moving. So it was like a double whammy.
Okay.
We got out of it, and the kids are like, all right, we're going to the next one. I was like, so I'm going to lay right here on this bench.
Do you know the cameras are rolling right now? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're rolling.
It's out there.
I'm weak sauce. They know it. I'm weak sauce. I can do space, like all roller coasters.
So if I go on ChatGPT tonight and say, has Becker ever got sick on a roller coaster, it'll pull this up. I'm guessing.
Once it's loaded into the atmosphere, probably it'll find this selection. I don't know that it'll go that deep, but we'd have to find out. They don't.
If you had AI, you can find it.
AI, you can find it. Exactly. No, those are pretty good. Yeah. I like those answers. Those are pretty good. So we had Harry Potter, Avatar.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, but a lot of that obviously was filmed in
like New Zealand.
Planet,
Yeah, like here.
Yeah.
Star Wars would be cool.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some Star Wars locations. I can't.
Yeah, there's probably some locations.
Guadalidum, I don't even know how to say it. What's that island?
You did a lot better than me. I wouldn't even know.
The island world?
I'm horrible. My daughter's going to be like...
Thor's home planet was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever that was called.
All right.
Edit that part for what I just said.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out. Actually, we're going to keep that one in. That's great. That's good TV. So what was the one with the I won't be able to think about it. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the home planet.
And the home planet that had his dad. That looked kind of cool. Yeah. That looked kind of cool.
You know, we would lose in any game playing that, right?
Yeah.
Tell me charades.
I know a dude that every night goes to the TV things and they do like trivia.
Oh,
and he's
trivia.
Like the trivia king. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is,
I hate those people.
I'm like, exactly. Well, I'm like, well, with AI that's sad. Now, you know,
I can answer any question you want.
So smart, right?
Like, if the only fair way to do trivia now is you have to put your phones and watches in a bag.
Yeah.
Because you know folks are
Ego. Oh, Ego was a planet, or Ego was his dad's name. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt's dad was
Chris
Ego.
Pratt's, it might have been. It might have been. But you know,
I don't know if that was the name of the planet.
Talking about trivia though, best story ever in trivia. There was years that I went with my mom. She wanted to do this trivia, and her husband, and then some of her friends. They all live at St. Andrews, right? And so they would do trivia, and we were the young people. So I'd go, Danielle, and then Brandon and Crystal would come with us a lot, and we'd have and that Brandon's our other co-host who's not here today. But
oh yeah, where
is Brandon? I poured one out.
Is he not here?
I poured one out for my homie. He had to work. So at any rate, we went to this trivia, and it was held at the clubhouse at the beach club for Sandestin.
Oh,
so you had to be a beach club member, and you'd go. But now we were by far the youngest people. We meaning Brandon and
so
Crystal.
Y'all four were a team at a table? Is that what it was?
Four of us, and then my mom had usually like 6 of her friends. So it was like a table of 10.
Like 5 Kathys at one table.
Yeah, right. And then there'd be other teams that would have anywhere from 6 to 10 players. So there might be 7 or 8 teams, and you'd eat dinner. So they'd cook you, you'd pay a little fee, and you'd eat dinner, and you'd play. And there is no real reward. I mean, you might get a bottle of $20 bottle of wine or something. It's respect. But for these folks, they're playing this game, and you know I love all my old people. We're now at 17.
They're retired. They ain't got nothing going on. This is important.
Crystal pulled out her phone in one of these trivia deals. Brandon wasn't there, and so she was just texting Brandon to like see what he was coming. He was on his way or whatever was going on. It was World War III. I'm telling you, she was called every name in the book by a lady behind, and we're talking an older retired lady.
Oh my God!
Turned around and called her every name in the book for bringing her phone out. Man. And I thought Crystal might just throw down right then. I said, "Holy smoke!"
She had to be from Atlanta.
That was the Sandestin. I think that table got banned. Actually, that table got banned from trivia at the Sandestin Beach Club.
For winning nothing. Yeah, no prize.
Nothing. No prize. I mean, it was like a bottle of wine sort of thing. We never really won. I don't think we won that night. I mean, it was just, I was there to hang out with my mom and some of her friends and play some trivia,
Sure.
and that was it.
Add in where you can.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what is that? What did you just say?
No, I said add when you can because you got.
Add when you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not good at trivia, but I come up with the ones that
add
no one else knows.
Can. Yeah. I thought that was Canadian for something.
Yeah.
There's a game we played.
Wait a second.
House,
It's not like a thing. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the game we played. There's a card game like that, but I can't think of it.
Trivia Pursuit.
Pretty fun. Yeah, I know the random stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I even know it, but you know
random,
it. Yeah,
and random, and
there's
no one else
stuff
got
you
it.
do know, but you can't think of it. You
can't
blink.
think of it. Yeah, for sure.
I know that. But,
so, how you deal with people and you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. What do you think, like male to female entrepreneurship relation, like that you're dealing with? It's still really kind of a man's world in the entrepreneurial world, right? It's getting better, but you probably deal with more men, I imagine. In the entrepreneurial world.
It's normal to have a lot more men that open businesses, but I think
times
women,
they be a changing.
Yeah, things are changing.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of it.
Yeah. How does that, the masculinity in the workforce, what is that looking like for you today? I mean, how can it be toxic? How can there be things we can get around on? I mean,
so here's my view on that. I think we don't really have a problem with masculinity. What we have a problem is that there's a lot of men that aren't healed.
Okay. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I just think that they haven't done the work on themselves to really show up. And, I think men, it's easy scapegoat to say that, it's our environment, it's our, community, it's people pushing us away. And I just think that's a load of malarkey.
Yeah.
I think men need to figure out how to heal themselves and, show up confident and do the work and, and all that goes away.
What does the work look like for you?
It's been a lot of work. First, I think you need to go inward and, figure out what it is that bothers you.
So maybe through counseling and therapy and group sessions.
I think journaling start.
Journaling's a good spot. Yeah.
I dove into the Bible.
Yeah.
I know maybe a lot of people might not subscribe to that, but it's helped me tremendously.
We're faith folks here.
Yeah. So, I'd start off with understanding scripture and, things that I think, I mean, we have the greatest book in the world to tell us what to do in life. And I think that if you are a man dealing with stuff, then that's a pretty good place to start. It's getting into your faith, go inward, and then as you're fixing some of those things, you start to see what's happening on the outside change too. And I think that that's a good place to start.
Well, I think, so you mentioned Napoleon with Think and Grow Rich, but there was the other guy that was writing around that same time was writing, I'm always there.
C.S. Lewis.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. And I think in Dale Carnegie, he talks a lot about being able to understand the other person's point of view.
Sure.
It's not a new concept.
It's not at all.
It's not a new concept.
A lot of the old books have all the secrets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of it's in plain sight.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's actually not a new concept to say, I want to know how does that person think and how do they feel and how are they going to feel about that? And that can make you, of course, more empathetic, but it can actually make you a better salesperson.
For sure.
And a better boss and a better co-employee and a better coworker.
Yeah.
Just by saying I'm going to take into account your feelings along with mine rather than might is right. Because that, for a long time, that's kind of as men, we think that way, right? Yeah. Might is right. How I feel is how it's going to be.
Sometimes. That's the ego.
That's the ego, yeah. As a parent, that was always a thing that I felt like I wanted my kids to understand. Very rarely, I think my kids would back me up here so they can check me later if they listen to this. Of course, nobody listens to this $10 podcast. But I very rarely would I just say no. That this is my no. That when they would ask for something, I'd say no, and I wanted them to ask why. Yeah. And then I would explain it. I'd bring them along on the journey why I do that. Very rarely would I would say, because I said so. I grew up, that's how I grew up, was because I said so.
Yeah.
And I wanted my kids to be able to, lean into asking a question. Now, Jackson, my son, and God bless him because he knows I love him. He's 21 years old. He's a great kid doing great things. But when there were times when he was younger, he would ask why to a point where I'd finally just say, I've given you all of my whys. And now it's because I said so.
My 12-year-old
now
does
it's
that
because
now.
I said so.
Well, I think if you give them a reason down the road, it might come up again the same thing. And it's like, I already know the answer to this.
Well, he also, but the thing is he thinks through why he needs to say no now. And now he likes feedback too.
Yeah.
Now that he's developing his own products and businesses and things like that, and he's trying to grow himself while he's in school and all this, he likes feedback now. He doesn't run from feedback. He wants to know why.
Well, you should,
so I can get better.
You've got 50 employees in, you're telling them this is what needs to be done. You don't, you give them, like, tell them why it needs to be done, and it helps them. It makes him see what you're seeing.
It's buy-in.
Buying in, basically, yes.
It's buying in.
If you just say, do this, and that's it.
But why?
Why
did you change the entire line of why we did this? Well, let me explain to you how we got here. And sometimes you have to explain it in ways that group can consume it.
Sure.
So they may not need to know the whole story of how you got there, but they need to know a story of how you got there so they can understand it and get buy-in. And so we used to do that with our kids.
Yeah,
too.
I think true masculinity, though, is like, protective.
Yeah,
passionate.
Well, that for sure are good qualities.
Personal like drive, purpose driven.
Sure.
And I think if men figure out what that is, that's a good place to start.
Well, tapping into that one's great, but not tapping into that while you're running over anyone else is, of course, where the toxic masculinity can come out.
That's different.
I mean, I'm constantly watching. I was eating with Danielle
from the heart.
Yeah, Danielle asked me a question the other day, and I don't even remember what the question was. Honestly, it's something simple. And I felt like she understood the answer, but I went ahead and answered. And she's like, that's not what I'm asking. And I go, well, I'm really not trying to mansplain here, but you did ask that question, But that is a big one. That's a buzzword right now, mansplaining.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of a buzzword. I do think we need to be careful. I mean, I think we don't have all the answers. And so I think we need to be respectful of our audience when we're talking.
For sure.
For sure.
I mean, should be normal.
It should be normal. Sometimes, though, it gets thrown around a lot, for sure. I don't think everybody out there is like, what's the other one? Gaslighting is the other one. Mansplaining. I don't know that everybody's doing it, but sometimes it can get...
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm just trying to tell you how... You asked a question of how we got there. I'm just trying to tell it.
Yeah.
But I do think you have to understand your audience. No,
for sure.
I promise you, everybody out there, I want to see your point of view and learn from it. But there are times when questions are asked and you've got to answer it the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a talker.
Yeah.
So my answer is usually not a yes or no.
Right.
So what's the best part of being a father?
Oh, the legacy.
Yeah.
I think, really watching my kids grow and helping them, understand things and answering questions and leading. Like, I lead.
Okay.
I show them that I'm not afraid to do things.
Yeah.
I try things.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. But they know me to be a guy that likes to try things.
Right.
So when I try things, they try things.
Right.
And I think that that's what they're always looking at is, what will you do? And I'm not afraid to do things. So even if I am afraid of it.
Yeah. So what's the craziest thing you've done with your kids? I mean,
how many kids you got?
Well, yeah, how many kids do you have?
I have 4.
4?
Oh, okay.
Three boys and 1 girl. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ages?
Yeah, we need to know that.
I started, I was 23 when I had my boy.
Okay.
He's 32.
Holy smoke.
Wait, you're that old?
Yeah.
I can't believe it, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't think you were that old. I thought you were
You said 32. I
thought you were already
32. I was like,
yeah.
What?
So, yeah. He's 30. I grew up with him.
Yeah.
That was my drive, though.
Yeah.
You have to lean in when you're that
Where's
young.
he at?
So he's in Toronto.
So he's in Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had to lean in and really realize that. Well, I think it probably saved me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your 20s is when you wild out. So you had one at 20.
You
You got to buckle down.
Yeah.
Man,
So
boy.
you're what you did too. Yeah.
I was 24.
But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have a 32-year-old, but I'm a little younger than you, though.
Yeah, a little bit. I have an 18-year-old. She's going to be 18 this year.
Oh, awesome.
And then I have a 12-year-old boy this year, and then a 10-year-old just in a couple days.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay,
That's
so-
awesome. So what is that, April birthday then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bennett,
Very
Coleman, Ellie, and Daniel.
Very nice. Very
Spread
nice.
out too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 10, 12, 18, and 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Well, I figured one of them's going to take care of me when I get older.
Well, you got a better shot. I only did 3, so
Right. Yeah. My chances are maybe a little higher, but
yeah. You know, I've told this story before. My wife, when we built some homes that have been significantly in size, and I keep telling my wife that our next one I want to do like a 3,000 or less square foot home, and she's like, "No, but I need room so that all the kids can come back and with their spouses
kids
and their kids and all." I said, "No, what we need to do is we need to reduce the size." So then we make them all vie for who's our favorite gets to stay with us that year for whatever it is. So then the other 2 are out, and then they'll all just be treating us really well throughout the year so that they can stay at the.
Well, I'm enjoying there's an Instagram family that has the compound, right? So it's like 3 houses.
Okay.
And they got the grandparents are like in the center house, and they build it out, and they're like kids live on each side.
Not a bad way to go.
Like 10 acres, but
Danielle's dad really wanted to do that. He was looking at buying acreage in Tennessee. Idea. And he really was kind of wanting to buy hundreds of acres and parcel off like 5 or 6 acres to like us, 5-6 acres.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Go drop the kids off. The grandparents were going to go out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be cool.
No, that's you get to kind of do life together and see what's going on.
I mean,
I think that's kind of the dream, right?
For sure.
So, did you feel like you answered that adequately enough as your best part of being a father? I know we just trampled all over your question there. So,
I think so.
The legacy,
the legacy's big.
That's a great answer.
It is a great answer.
And I think every man should write a book for their kids.
Really? Well, that's very interesting.
I don't want to.
Yeah. So what I did with my mom, I gave her a gift. I gave my mother a gift, and I can't think of the name of the company now, but it sends her prompt questions like every week. And my mother loves to write. And so it's prompt questions about like, tell me a story about like prom in high school, or tell me a story about your first, time driving or learning to drive or whatever. And so she would write all of these things, and then it gets put into a book at the end of the year. So she's coming into the end of this year of having this, and it'll be put in a book of all these stories throughout her life of that. Some things I knew about, and then some things I didn't. So
that's cool.
It's a really great service, and if I think about it, I'll throw it into the show notes. But I can't think of the name of
Waverly does children's where you can do like children's like for your kids and stuff. But
I normally don't have my phone on me, but I'm going to see if.
Well, that just made me think of an idea I had.
Storyworth.
Okay.
Storyworth.
I've heard of that.
You can check it out. Storyworth. And it's been a real. My mother has enjoyed it. I also get when she finishes a story, I get it in my email, so I'm reading her stories every week.
Wow.
And so at the end of this, it'll be compiled into a small book. So it's easy to consume, easy to write, easy to consume, and then she'll have a book.
Pass it down generation to generation.
But I can print out like 6 or 7 of these hardbound books or whatever and give them out to a few, like my brother and some other people, and then my kids. And you're right, and they can pass it down. And when I would have, if this was around for my great grandmother or my great grandfather, I mean, I would have. All I have is the stories that were orally told to me.
Sure.
I don't have anything.
Well, it's like now everybody wants to do the family trees, right? Imagine starting now, but having like instead of a photo and a little bio, you have a freaking book of each person all the way back to your family tree. So that would be awesome.
There's a new company that will just allow you to put your phone in front of you, and you have your parent or grandparent or whoever you want tell the story, the prompt, tell it to your phone, and it records it.
Okay.
Then it places it in posterity online forever
till the grid shuts
but
down.
Then it also will put it AI will put it into a chapter for the story into the book, so then you can have a hardbound book. So to do both.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, that's see, technology does have good stuff to it.
It does. It does.
I mean, that stuff like that.
But legacy is really good. You have to be thinking about what are you leaving your kids.
I wrote my
and it doesn't. It's not. And money's the least of what you leave. Assets are the least of what you leave your children.
I wrote my first book called The Success Playbook for my 18-year-old boy.
Nice.
At the time.
Very nice.
I hand wrote it. It was 6 chapters. I gave it to him for his birthday.
Very nice.
And I called it The Success Playbook. And so later, when he was, I guess it was several years later, 2015, I started writing The Success Playbook, and I used the first 6 chapters that I wrote for him and I finished it with 13 chapters.
Very nice. And is this on like Amazon?
Yeah.
So Success Playbook by Chris Cumby.
That's right.
Would it be Christopher L. Cumby. You went with the mom and dad version.
I did. Yes. Yeah.
Christopher L. Cumby. Well, I'm going to have to look it up now.
Yeah, well, I'll bring you one.
Oh, that'd be great.
I meant to bring a couple today, but...
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even know that question was coming out.
I use them for business cards. I love giving my book out to whoever I'm hanging out with.
Well, when you write a book and have it published and have it bound and do all that,
cool.
It's quite an accomplishment. It's not easy to put thoughts down on paper.
Well,
although AI could do it a little quicker for you.
And that does happen, and it will happen more. Yeah. I think it'll lose its authenticity.
100%.
I wrote it all by hand. And then I'll eventually typed it up.
Did you use a typewriter or did you use a computer?
I'm not that old.
Well, you're from Canada, right? I mean, I didn't know if they had computers up there. I deserve that one. I deserve that one.
That was a good one.
I deserve that one for sure.
Well, your mom's name's not Kathy, is it though?
It's not.
All right, we have
a lot of Kathys. His mom's Kathy. My mom's Kathy.
That's funny.
If you had, and we're kind of coming to the end of the show here, but I want to give you a last question. I want to pitch you here is if you could go back in time and tell your 25-year-old self anything, what would you tell yourself?
Don't chase women.
Just joking. I was thinking a 2-year-old. Hey,
brilliant.
Don't run out of formula.
No, I'd probably tell myself. I'd probably tell myself that I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably tell myself that I'm good enough. I think a lot of, young guys and, maybe even some guys now today that are older, we chase validation,
Yeah.
And I just know now that I'm like,
your imposter syndrome's big. Audience.
It's worse now than when you were 25. Right now, they imagine me 25 now because of social media. This is what,
I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to do those things, and
performance-based approval.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I would probably go back and tell myself that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good enough. Be you. Go do your thing. And for the most part, I've always been that guy that went that way when everybody went that way anyway. Yeah. So, but I would probably. Yeah, really focus in on, you're good, bro.
You're good, bro.
Just be you, and
that's a positive. That's so positive. So before we close up, though, can you tell me again where Level Up
Epic Events,
levelupepicevents.com.
They'll be able to see the recap from last year.
Okay. There'll be some
video
and things like
we
that.
Did,
okay,
the sponsors, who was involved, what it was about.
So check it about. Yeah, I like it. Check it out, and levelupepicevents.com.
That's right.
Check it out. Then your book, though, that was thrown in. That's like a little extra. Just a little extra.
Yeah.
Amazon, Christopher L. Cumby. Tell me the book, Success.
The Success Playbook. And actually, I give it away for free on my website at ChristopherCumby.com.
Oh, that's great. You've got your own name?
I do.
There's a guy named Jason Becker. There was a great guitarist.
Dude, I tell everybody.
He got my name.
If you don't get your .com, you're losing out on real estate.
I agree.
So I need to get
got
my daughter's
first.
.com now.
What do you think I should do?
The real JasonBecker.com.
He probably got it, but I'm trying it now.
JB.com.
JB.com. Somebody's got that. Certainly.
Could be.
I'm figuring it out. I'm getting it.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring my computer today.
Jabronis.com. We're going to be looking it all up.
Jabronis.com's got to be gone.
That's for sure. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute. This is, a masterclass in entrepreneurship and thought thinking and leveling up your thought and as young people networking and where you can go. Just a masterclass in it today. So what a lot of fun we had sitting here.
Well, I appreciate both of you. Juice is great to hang out, and obviously Jason, this is a couple times now for us, but it was a lot of fun. You got a great studio and you got a great show, and I'm sure the listeners out there are loving it as well, and it's only going to get better.
Hey, they're staying around for these jabronis, so it's all right. It's all right. Well, so listen, this is the part I like to say, listen up, kids. Listen up, kids. You did just get a master class in entrepreneurship, in networking, and everything else. And that's what I want to tell you is to lean into the people around you. Find out what they're doing. Find out what's going on with them, and how can you serve them. You'd be surprised at how many of them want to serve alongside with you and what you can learn and how you can grow and how you can level up. Or don't. What the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know with JB?